Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over one of the most iconic of the Wonder Nines, and that is the Glock 17. This is a Generation 5, and it has to be one of my most favorite, if not the favorite, of any Glock that I've ever owned. And before we get into it, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of you watching this right now. You guys are what keeps the channel alive and keeps videos like this coming through. So go ahead, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and go into the comments section and tell me what Glock is your favorite and why. So the Glock 17, or
Glock 7, you know what that is? It's a porcelain gun made in Germany. Doesn't show up on your airport x-ray machines here, and it costs more than you make in a month.
I fucking love Die Hard. But anyways, while all of those are definitely not true at all, just goes to show how popular the Glock was at the time, and that popularity has still carried on into today. So for those of you who don't know, Glock did not start as a firearms company. They instead were making polymer products like curtain rods and doorknobs, and in the late 70s they transitioned to making military-oriented hardware like entrenching tools, knives, and disintegrating links. Now in the 80s, the Austrian Armed Forces announced that they would be looking for a new candidate to replace their current service pistol, which was the Walther P38. The Walther P38 was a good design, but it was becoming outdated as more and more double-stack 9mm became prevalent. And some of the requirements, it had to be ambidextrous, drop safe, easy to use, easy to shoot, had to have a high-capacity mag, and so on and so forth. And in 1982, Glock developed and submitted the prototype of the Glock 17. It was named after his 17th invention, and the fact that its magazine held 17 rounds was a bit of divine providence. But the Glock 17 went up against the fan favorite Beretta 92, which was adopted by the United States military at the time, and it also went up against Sig Sauer's P220 and the 226, and HK's own P7, and wouldn't you know it, Glock took home the cake. In the years that followed, many military and police forces began adopting the Glock, and after some initial concerns from the US, something about it being a plastic gun and tailor-made for terrorists and whatnot, they adopted it and let it into the country, and from the years that went on from there, it became increasingly popular in civilian, law enforcement, and military use, along with the mainstream media. Fun fact, fellow Austrian Arnold Schwarzenegger was reportedly a fan, and nothing accentuates an 80s action hero like a cold piece of polymer and metal by their face as they clear a whole room by themselves. Just watch Die Hard 2, you guys will know. But Glock saw a bunch of iterative improvements and different designs over the years and became chambered in things like 22 all the way up to 45 ACP and multiple different generations until it reached the Generation 5, which is by far the latest and the greatest of the Horcruxes of the great Gaston Glock. So the Glock I am using right now is the Glock 17 Generation 5, and what makes Gen 5 Glocks a cut above the rest is the minor improvements they made over the years. So the Gen 5 features fully ambidextrous controls, like the slide stop. The magazine release can be switched around. It has an internally flared mag well, which helps if you fumble a magazine and you don't have to add something that'll add more bulk to your gun. It features these front slide serrations, which are super nice, especially when you're doing your tactical press checks like that. And I am also using the MOS variant, or modular optic system. And what MOS Glocks do is they allow you to attach a variety of different optics to the Glock using their respective different plates, such as things for the RMR, the Delta Point Pro, and the one I'm running currently, the Aimpoint Acro. Last but not least, the other improvement they made was adding a different barrel with tighter rifling so that you can place farther shots, and it just makes it a super reliable and super easy to shoot gun, and I wouldn't really trade it for anything else. As far as Glock setups go, mine is one among many, but we're still going to go over it because it's what this channel does best. So to start things off with, we're going to look at the light, and I'm using a Surefire X300 Vampire, and it is an awesome little pistol light, as is most Surefire lights. And what I like particularly about it is the turn screw mount, which is arguably more stable and precise than the other mounts that they have, those little spring-loaded thumb tabs, and the ability to switch between white hot and infrared modes. The white hot is about 1,000 lumens with a decent throw, and so is the IR, and we're doing a video on different IR devices in the future, so stay tuned for that. Moving back, I've kept a lot of the internal stock. This is a very well broken in Glock, so I see no need to change anything out as of right now. But the one thing I did change right off the bat was adding the OEM extended slide stop. And not to discredit the original slide stops that came with this, it's just Glock has a very recessed slide stop that makes it hard for me to use because my hands are a bit smaller than most. But what I like about the Glock slide stop in particular is that it gives my thumb a nice little platform that I can reach up and find almost instantly. So say I've dropped my mag, putting a new one in, and my thumb's just right there. As far as optics go, I am again running the Aimpoint Acro P2 on a forward controls design plate. And when I initially bought this, I put the Acro and the plate on and didn't use any Loctite. Shot about 300 rounds through it before my friends finally bullied me into using it, and nothing had come loose. So now with Loctite on, I am confident that nothing will come flying off should shit hit the fan, which might be a problem for me if I want to replace parts, but that's a future problem. Anyways, the Aimpoint Acro is an enclosed emitter dot that is extremely nice, very durable, very Aimpoint in design. Now some people might talk shit about it and say that, oh, it looks like a mailbox. And yes, it does add a fair bit of rearward weight to the gun, but I haven't experienced any failure to feeds or any unnecessary malfunctions, and the dot's just super easy to pick up, so haters just gonna hate. And the moment you've all been waiting for, the ASMR. Just kidding, I'm just gonna squeeze the trigger. It's nothing too fancy. Again, this Glock has a fair amount of rounds through it, so it might be a little bit different for those of you who wanna go out and buy something new, but we're gonna go ahead and depress that little finger bar. Gonna have about a millimeter or two of play before I start getting into that fuzz. And I've hit the wall right now. Gonna press just a little bit more. Pretty clean break. Racking the slide again, letting it go, and there's that reset. Glock triggers, especially the stock ones, are just the best. If you want to go ahead and install a Timney trigger, that's really up to you, especially if you're doing some sort of freaky competition shit. And that's it. The Glock 17 Gen 5 is by far my most favorite Glock that I've ever owned, as well as being ranked among my top 3 handguns currently. And it's also just a testament to how far Glock has come since the early 1980s. It is an excellent handgun that shoots flat. I've had about 1,000 rounds through it, including its previous owner, and it's just a reliable workhorse that will definitely not die out anytime soon. As far as availability goes, if you have the funds, definitely get a Glock 17 Gen 5. If not, you can always either try to find one used like me, or go for a Gen 4 or Gen 3. It's not the pistol or how good it is or how late of a generation it is. It all depends on the skill of the shooter. So once you get one, or if you already have one, go out there and train with it. And that's all I got for you guys. I will see you in the next video.